Good Times hour.
It's a good times half hour at most here. We do apologize. We've had some technical difficulties in getting our guests all on the same page. Our guest today was supposed to be Charlie Mead, and we're not sure what's going on over there in England right now. Um,
We know what's going on in France, but
our this is the second time we've had to postpone Charlie Mead, so hopefully we can get him on at some point
the end of the
before the
Olympics.
apocalypse comes. Um, and
Which
also
will be.
we had Al Bonapane.
Sorry about that.
We had Bonapane lined up. When was that? 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago,
Yeah, something like
and
that. Back in June.
he got no. Well, the one in June 24th. I actually got hit by a car, so we couldn't do that show then. And then when we rescheduled to early July or 2 weeks ago, he was traveling and found himself on the wrong side of that Microsoft global shutdown and couldn't get out of Colorado. So we've been kind of gun shy with what's going on. Our last guest was Bill Wright on June 20th. That feels just wrong to go a month of prime summer season without talking to anybody.
It's definitely been well, and then there's been some struggles in other areas too. Like I personally had a trophy project that took over my life, really this whole entire month, and finally we got that out for the Junior World Championships last weekend, and man, getting into the end of the finish line there, and seeing all the joy and happiness on all those young up and coming golfers' faces really made it all worthwhile, and it taught me a couple lessons too, and so it's yeah, between you and I both, we've had quite a busy summer, and we haven't really seen any of y'all lately, so
And just
we
just to circle back to that, you did the trophies for the World Championship, the Junior World Championships, but that's an incredible thing. You poised yourself to be the trophy maker to the kings and queens out there. And may I just take a quick little detour here to give a shout out to my homeboy Nico, the current MJ10 world champion. I think if you go on Google Earth right now, you still might see the shine of Father Carl's smile still reflecting out of somewhere in the central portion of the United States. Um, so congratulations to Nico and to Carl. I know you're bursting as a father, and Carl's definitely one of a good old friend, and he would be an old friend of the show too. So we may have to track Nico down once he grows up a little bit.
a little bit, yeah. He's not quite been around long enough to be a young veteran yet, but he's well on his way,
He's well on
and
his way.
quite a gracious youngster as well. It was cool to meet him, and we'll tell a little story about. I'm not kidding. I really felt just like tenderized when I got up. That I mean, I worked on those trophies till 4 in the morning on Saturday morning, literally in my buddy Tong Lee's parents' garage. We went at it about 3 different nights, and finally just had to go at it all night to get it ready. And I I didn't. I just don't. I don't remember a project that I had this much of a mental beating out of, but I really managed to keep it together and not lose my shit on anybody or anything. And it was just like one lesson after the other. And finally, I rolled in on Saturday morning and just was just like on almost felt defeated. But everybody asked how, they're like, all right, go over here, take them over here, let's get it set up. And I got them all set up. I got them all cleaned up. And the girls 8 and under were the first ones to receive their trophies, and they were all three just little sweethearts. One of them was from local from Tulsa, the second place, and then the third place girl was from China. And they I packed these boxes up so that they could make sure that these made them home, and I had used taped them shut and everything like that. Well, the little girl from Tulsa, she her dad was holding the box, and I overheard her say, "I want to hold my trophy some more." And so he obliged, and he opened up the box and gave her a trophy some more. And I heard it, and I can't tell you, like, Like stood up straight again. I was a 6'3" again. It was like it was just filled my soul. And I went over and introduced myself and told her, "Hey, look, I made these trophies, and I really want you to know that what you said really went a long way to filling my soul back up, and I'm glad you feel that way." And so it was really cool, and it
Nice.
was it was the payment that I needed because I'm not kidding, man. There was a couple times where I was just like, I'm not sure I can get up before the ref hits number 8, and somehow I managed to, and it was just one of those things. Like I would have never thought that it was going to put me through the mill like that. And this
Well,
week
at
I
the same
really,
time, you were working on the USDGC and the throw pink trophies as well.
oh
Like
yeah, yeah. Well, and that
that's
was one thing.
huge.
So and this is, if you've been near me in the last 10 days, you've probably heard this story twice, but um, that was an amazing situation because Billy Moody, an old OG Tulsa disc golf guy and Middle America disc golfer. Um, he owns a house that's right across the street from the 18th tee pad on McClure disc golf course in Tulsa. We've That's been part of the Oklahoma Open forever, and if you've played a tournament in Tulsa, chances are the McClure was part of the deal. Not every time, and this year it wasn't part of the World Championship, but the community center there is now the Tulsa glassblowing school, and I was able to reserve some time and an assistant there. And for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of the the Junior World Championship week 2 weeks ago, I blew glass in there and I created the pieces for USDGC and Throw Pink. At the same time, I was wrapping up you know the completion of another trophy project and delivering it. So that was really cool. And over the years, stayed in that house with Billy. Then I stayed in it when Kevin McCoy moved in, and stayed there a couple of years when it was Billy and Kevin. And then Kevin and Courtney got together, so she moved in too. Then Billy moved away, and it was just Kevin and Courtney. And then Kevin and Courtney moved away to Georgia, and it was Mike Connors. So over a 12-year period of time or more, I've probably stayed in that house like 15 or 20 times with 5 different configurations of either ownership and tenants or just tenants. And then, fast forward almost 20 years later, making some of the biggest trophies of the sport for 2024 right there in a community center where I've sold frisbees on a disc golf course in Tulsa, Oklahoma,
That's pretty cool. It's a cool way of completing the circle.
and recovering from the whooping.
So, okay, so we're obviously going to have to reschedule Charlie. Do we have any firm dates of guests coming up?
I'm gonna have some tomorrow. I've
Okay.
been pretty occupied with these projects lately, but we will definitely. Well, we were kind of both, well, you were busy recovering, and I was just busy, and so I was reluctant to get too much going, but also just kind of waiting, to see what your recovery was like. So look, folks, he's not even wearing the helmet, so we're in good shape.
Yeah, I'm not moving too fast in this chair, so that's okay. But so this week we don't have anybody scheduled yet, right?
No, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we could queue up Al Bonapane without too much issue and notice. So we could probably get something going later in the week, maybe Thursday or something with Al. And we'll see what's going on with RJ in jail. She had some health scare and she just got out of the hospital not too long ago, earlier this past week. And then we got Jeff and Johnny. We're going to queue them up and go back to back, like not day after day, but we'll do like a Monday, Wednesday or something with those guys. And a couple other things up our sleeves. We've been asked to do a memorial show for Larry Leonard, which I think it's a pretty big honor for us to be considered for something like that. But definitely know a lot of those Carolina guys, and I'm gonna be fishing in the Raleigh area at the very end of August, and I'm also going to make an appearance at the World Championship for probably Friday and Saturday, or I'm not sure if it ends on Saturday or if it ends on Sunday, but whatever the last 2 days are there, I'll make an appearance up there with Jerry Gotcher and sort out some details on what we're going to do for the Larry Memorial. That'll be something we do in September. And we probably got, by the time we get this reshuffled, we've got enough people pretty much to take us through the end of the year. And
And the end of our year is going to be middle to late October, because then you're going to go
yeah,
full full lights mode.
yeah, I might have met a third lead guy yesterday too, which would be really cool.
So, unfortunately, we've not been able to stay on all of our schedules, but we're pretty flexible, and we're looking for hopefully less ghosting and more toasting.
Yeah, and I think that's, we're learning, our game on this as well, and a couple of tricks that we've figured out recently that should be able to help us cue this up a little better. And sorry if we're disappointing to a small
Yeah.
extent. It's gonna change real soon on that front too.
I think we're disappointing all four of our fans.
Well, maybe we'll get to five at one of these here in not too distant future.
We do have, not that it's news anymore. This, I guess, got the official word about a month ago or so. But Toronto is going to be the site next year for the FPA World Championships, Freestyle World Championships. They're looking at, I talked to the organizers on Friday because this weekend is the Summer Jam, and some of the members of the Jamily are out there having some fun in the park. And it's great for me because it's just almost virtually right across the street. I
Nice.
yeah, I rode my bike up there because I brought my cooler and had some beers on board. But it was so close. But I don't think that's where they're currently looking for an indoor place because um, it's better. It's best to be able to control a lot of those variables such as weather and wind. And indoor sites make some of the best places to do, uh, especially world championships. So I think they're still doing some fine tuning of the little details, but the big idea is next year, and hopefully, we can have some big travelers come up and grace us with their jamming presence. Um, One of our personal following the Bill Wright show, which was amazing and so in depth, and we only got less than halfway through it, but he did promise to come back to the show, and one of the ideas we're throwing around is to have him and Skippy Jammer on the show together. And if we can have freestyle luminaries like that grace us with our presence, we're solidly moving into the world of flying disc sports.
Yeah, fair. And that's a thing that's I've been led to believe it's very likely.
Well,
Uh,
I've
One of
heard
our previous guests plays golf with Skippy regularly, and he's working on that for us right now.
that's sweet. Our unofficial booking agents. We have two in the West
Yes.
Coast.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And I do want to say thank you to both Tita Ugalde and Michelle Marini for reaching out to me, sending me emails asking how I was doing after the accident. So thank you both. That was very much appreciated. I can't find the email that Michelle sent me, but there's apparently a potato chip brand in North Carolina called Mr. B's. So she took a photo of that. That gave
Interesting.
me a
I didn't
chuckle.
know that.
So thank you, Michelle. Much appreciated. And to Michelle and Dave, just from Friday night talking to the jammers organizing the summer jam here. Lots of huge love in the jam community for Bill Wright and everything he's done. So
And Dave and Michelle.
and Dave, and oh yeah, and I was talking to Pat Chartrand, who's one of our more decorated freestylers, and he can never say enough good things about Dave, particularly Dave, but Dave and Michelle, the two of them. We might have had an extra beer too many on Friday night, and we were both getting a little maudlin and nostalgic
Mm,
about how
come on
awesome the
now.
Marinis are. So big love to you guys out there.
Nice.
Yes, guy. So we will. hopefully get some word out with the confirmed guests. It looks like we're ready to go with Al at a moment's notice. So if it fits into his scheduling, we're ready to jump on that. And in the meantime, we hope everybody's out there having a good time enjoying lovely sunshine here in Toronto. It's a swelteringly gorgeous day, beautiful. I will
Dude, we've
not
had
be
some
seeing the sunshine.
unbelievable weather for like 10 days. Like it's like we woke up in the wrong state
Nice.
or country. You know, I got to Tulsa on Tuesday, and you could see the humidity hanging in the air. And apparently, it rained cats and dogs overnight. And I was out. I didn't. Brendan and I split a hotel room, and he's like, "You didn't hear it rain last night?" I was like, "All I heard was nothing." I was out, and after that, like mid 80s for like 10 days there and here.
In Tulsa in July. That's crazy.
Dude, in my shop, like Friday, I worked till 8:30, and well, I mean, I do have 5 fans, but I wasn't sweating. It was like 84.
You have more
Right.
fans than we have for the show.
Well, we're working on that fifth one.
All right. Well, until until we get
It
another
appears to
guest.
me that, by the way,
Yeah.
one of the reasons we were doing all this is to test, and we're live in both spots.
Oh, good.
I don't know if anybody else is seeing it, but
Yeah. This may be one that just doesn't really go on the shelf. But we hopefully promised that we promised that hopefully we will be ready with the next show and we will have a guest.
yeah, we're working on this.
I mean,
We
some
passed the
things
2 year
happen.
anniversary, and we're stumbling.
I mean, we do have a huge roster of shows. We're over what 70 shows now.
Yeah, we're in the mid 70s for sure.
So
For sure.
we've got ourselves a nice little arsenal of material already. But anyways, so I guess until then, Mace, we'll just wish each other good times, and we'll keep a good times, extend that good times wish to everybody out there, whether they're watching or not. Always pushing out the good vibes and good times.
Yeah, and you know, I'm gonna give Charlie a little pressure because obviously, if you don't know it, you will by the time we finally get an interview in with him. But he was pivotal in getting disc golf into the World Games, and it's back for next year, and that's one of the key steps to getting it in the Olympics. And the Olympics are going on right now in Paris, so I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but I can remember going all the way back to the '76 Olympics in Montreal. That was when I really got hooked on the whole. Holy cow! These are the best people in the world at that, you know, and like I still like I was watching beach volleyball last night, and not that I wouldn't watch that normally, but there's things that I'll watch that are Olympic sports that I wouldn't give up a half an hour on a Saturday for otherwise. But man,
Right.
I didn't realize, I never really thought about how far reaching the French country is, but they had the surfing was in Tahiti, and the French province of Tahiti, and dude, they were ripping these tubes. Yeah, I was,
Jesus.
but I mean, I guess it's like the Roman Empire and different things. You know, British. It's the British Virgin Islands or whatever. Those kind of things. I guess France has some
Oh yeah, they
interest in
still have
Tahiti.
some far-flung colonial possessions, but the fact, like when London had the Olympics in 2012, and I don't think they used the former empire. This is the other thing is that there are with the British Empire, it was all imperial control, but with France, they've divided their territorial possessions in what they call departments. So that's all of France. Each like province or state, they call them a department. But France has still that kind of direct control over places like Saint Martin in the Caribbean or Tahiti or places like that. So it's still considered actual French
Interesting.
soil. So it's wild that they
But I
like
was shocked
across the
by it
time
because
zone. Oh my god!
honestly, that I spent that whole day in this Boro shop working on those on that glass jewelry, and so like when I got home, I was like, man, I haven't watched anything. I didn't watch the opening ceremonies or anything. And usually, if I'm home, I can remember like when the Sydney Olympics went on. I happened to be home off a tour at that point, and I literally laid on the couch for 2 straight weeks and just watched everything. Like I didn't go outside hardly at all. Well, because I'd been on tour all summer. You know, I mean, I'd been
Sure.
on tour
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
the time change, and I
Yeah.
think that was the end of a 4 month trip. And like I was like, I'm not going anywhere. And I was like, oh, and the Olympics are on. You know, and I mean, it and just getting just totally getting immersed into it. And so yesterday I was like, holy cow, watching these guys surf out of that tube. I was just like, man, I've watched Jonathan's kids surf at in South Carolina at Pawleys Island, and those guys are dreaming of these tubes that these guys were ripping through, and just like all of a sudden, like it looks like it closes, and then dude comes ripping out of that foam, and man, it's
Nice.
so
Right on.
impressive to see what the best of the best can do in the Olympics.
Well, enjoy watching whatever sports and contests are on today. I won't be doing that. I'm just going to be going to my chair over there and enjoying a nice little break before getting back to it. So, in the meantime, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us.
Look,
If
see,
you're there,
Paul's back. He's better. He's well.
I'm
Take the
I'm
training
back,
wheels off the
baby.
bike like Tuesday.
I did get back on the bike that was I finally got it back after about a month in the shop, and I rode it only from the shop to the house, maybe 15 blocks.
It was probably noticeable though, like it was tuned, and you're like,
It
hey,
was
this
too,
is like a new bike.
but see the thing is, right, like about 2 weeks before the incident, or maybe three, I had already gotten, I don't know, $600 worth of repairs and tune up on the bike, so it was already riding perfectly, and then that happened. But I'm not eager to get back on that bike too anytime soon. Thank God I've got my step through second bike. That's a lot. That's the training wheel bike. It's got huge fat tires. It doesn't move very fast, but it gets me where I need to go. So
There you go.
I won't be going anywhere speeding anytime soon. But believe you me, everyone out there, I will be wearing a helmet. Got to protect my
Yeah,
cords.
protect that hairdo.
Hairdo. All right, Maceo, you have some fun today, and we'll talk about this week coming up.
All right, later, Ron.
All right, take it easy, guys.